Yeah, so it's your fault that Greg's fault as well.
It is.
It's one of our
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another great episode of The Distiller's Perspective, where we talk to distilleries to get their perspective on what's going on in the world. We have another great, this is a landmark episode tonight. Here we have Aaron from Browne Family Spirits. What's up, Aaron?
What's going on?
Not much. It's a historical episode because you are the first guest to make another, like a second appearance on The Distiller's Perspective. So you're the first one to be on here twice, man.
Honored.
I'm pumped up to hear about all the things that have changed for you and your area of operation and your distiller's perspective over the last year. If you guys don't know, if you guys didn't catch one of our earliest episodes, it was episode number 3 that we had Aaron here on, and now this is episode 16, and he's back again, and we're pumped to have him. How was your day, bud?
It's been good. Distillery's pumping out juice, and summer times are hard. It's 95 degrees in that place, so we're sweating and working, and it's exhausting.
Oh yeah. Please just remind us where you're at and what you're doing over there.
Yeah, so we're our facility is located in Spokane, Washington. Pretty small facility. We running about a 500-gallon pot column hybrid still with a 200-gallon rectification still, producing about 2 barrels a day, 4 days a week, so about 8 barrels a week. We do have a range of different products, everything from bourbon, rye, and single malt whiskeys, and then we also do some vodka and gin.
Right on. Thanks. Appreciate you catching us back up to where you're at. Now, like I said, you were on one of our very first episodes, and we had not really come into a full speed sprint yet in doing this series. And what we've developed on the way is called the Revolving Door of Questions.
Okay.
Because what's the point of doing it live if we're not including the audience?
Yeah.
Right? Like we may as well do an interview, record it, edit it, make it clean and pretty, and you can use it for an advertisement or something. If we're gonna not include the audience, you know what I mean? But if we're gonna really have some fun, because as you know, when you have people coming in your shop all the time, or us, the consumers, going into distilleries or going to our buddy's house that are whiskey enthusiasts, you can sit back and just talk whiskey all day, and it is a freaking blast.
Yeah.
And so the way this game is played, called the Revolving Door of Questions, is I'm going to invite an audience member onto the screen with us, and they get to ask one question, and then once that question's been answered, I kick them right off. Because if I leave them here, we're going to start talking about the dog's name and where they work at or something. No, we want to keep it focused on you and the distillery and your whiskey that you got going on. So they ask a question, they get kicked off. But incentive, if they jump on and ask a question, they get entered in to the wheel, the raffle at the end of the show to win prizes. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds like a great way.
Right. So I'm going to drop the link in the chat, and so people can go ahead and start gathering up in the back room while we see who's in here so far. You got the community chat open so you can see the people, because it should say private, then the other one says comments or something, right?
Correct.
All right, we got Jerry Black in the house already. He was their first one on. Appreciate you being here, Jerry. Tater Dom is here. Bourbon Baller Lee is in the house. Good to see you, bud. Tracy, what's up, man? 4 Leaf Whiskey, Stacy is in the house. What's up, Stacy? Martin from across the pond. What's happening, Martin? John is here. Tater Dom, Jerry, Stacy, all saying hi to each other. There's James from on the other side of the pond also. Mark and Aaron, cheers, lads. Do you like the local knowledge? Absolutely, buddy. Appreciate you. Cheers. This is a distillery to look out for. Awesome start, and thank you, Aaron, for the hard work. I appreciate the words, Lee.
Yeah, appreciate it.
John, what's up? What's up? All right, everybody's saying hi to each other. I love it. Samoan Barkeep, Tolley, you better line up and ask a question, Tolley, so you can get in on this and win a flight or something. I have 4 bottles from Browne behind me that there's definitely going to be at least 2 flights going out to people in the raffle. It's good to see all you guys saying hi to each other. Chris Tats is in the house saying what's up from upside down over there in Aussie land. What up? What up? Oh, goodness. Dude, everybody's just saying hi to each other. Deathless Dogs is in the house. What's up, Dan? Good to see you. What's up, Rob? Glad you could be here. I very much doubt Browne Family will export, but the fundamentals are worldwide. Absolutely. And I'm sure we will get into that distribution. Lil is sitting here beside me as well. Oh, what's up, Lil? I'm glad to see you and Chris here, as always. Jake's in the house saying hi to everybody in one fell swoop. Love it. All right, so I get to ask the first question. Okay. Last time we had you on here, you were with Warrior. And can you tell us about that transition for you? Because last time you were on the show, you were with Warrior Spirits. And tell us about how that went down.
Yeah, so if many people are familiar, Warrior was a very small local family-owned brand through our Spokane distillery. It was started with a couple, Rich and Mary Clemson. The difference between Warrior and where we're currently at with Browne is definitely the products and placement. Mm-hmm. Warrior, we very much focused locally. We were only in Washington and a few surrounding states. Our products were a totally different, almost like genre of spirits for sure. Focused a lot on flavored products, different flavored vodkas, flavored whiskeys. Browne is taking a different spin on this. We're focusing more on the whiskeys itself, less flavored products. We're going for a little bit higher price point, trying to compete for that market share. And I mean, if you are familiar with the old Warrior products, I don't even know if you still have a bottle of the Warrior on your shelf there, Mark. But
I do.
You hold up the Warrior and compare it to the Browne. Just the display alone shows the difference in quality placement for sure.
So there's the Warrior and the Browne. Has very clean.
Yeah,
label. And the bottle's embossed. It's got texture to it. Yeah,
it stands out a little bit more on a shelf. You don't see a whole lot of brands with the square bottles nowadays.
That's true. And did you guys move away from these ones altogether?
No, so we can talk about that as well. So the round bottles are more, these are going to be our tasting room exclusive type bottles. The square is going to be more that you're going to see in the stores for our wholesale.
Okay.
But yeah, so Browne is, it's a corporate owned business. So it's Precept brands. It's not just Browne itself. And Precept, the company owns, actually, they started off in the wine industry. We own several wineries around Washington, especially out in Walla Walla, Waterbrook, Canoe Ridge, Willow Crest, and then we own Gruet down in New Mexico and Sawtooth out in Boise. So the company is kind of all over the place, but the one you're going to see or be most familiar with is the Browne label for sure. You can find it in almost every grocery store in Washington and outside of Washington. So we've definitely got some reach and some placement.
Awesome. So the square bottles are going to be the ones you see on the shelves at stores, and the more rounded bottles are going to be the ones that you'll be able to pick up like distillery exclusives.
Yeah, exactly. And we have more than just our Spokane tasting room. We actually have tasting rooms in Bellevue, Washington, Tacoma, and downtown Seattle. So
no way.
Yeah, so every Browne tasting room is going to potentially have the spirits as well, not just the wines.
Okay, I want to put that in the description as well because there's a lot of locals who are here. So you said Tacoma, Woodinville,
Bellevue,
right? Tacoma, Bellevue, and where?
downtown Seattle.
Downtown Seattle. Okay, I got to
Yep,
put
yep.
that in the video description. Now, also, if you guys look in the video description, you will see a link to their website that's already there, so you can check out more on there. And like I said, if any of you guys want to enter into the raffle to win some prizes and stuff, go ahead and jump in. Can I say that the American Single Malt is amazing and at cast strength? It's unbelievable. Oh, dude, you've had the Single Malt at cast strength? That sounds great.
Yeah, I believe the cast strength single malt is going to be our Bittner's label and classification.
Oh, yeah.
Our first round, I believe, was the one that came out at 131 proof too. So it's a high proof, but it doesn't burn your palate to pieces. That single malt actually came out very floral for sure. So it was completely unique and a great pick for single barrel cast strength.
Sounds like it. Sounds great. And I know if Lee likes it, it's going to be good. He definitely likes his higher proof ones as well. I saw William.
The great thing about the doing cash strengths is you get this rare opportunity. We've gotten about like 35 to 38 cases out of one of those casts. They're 4 years old right now, and you get an opportunity. It's a little bit higher of a price point, but you're going to get something that's only going to be around in very limited quantities. So if you are a whiskey enthusiast, when you get an opportunity to grab a bottle like that, it's there. As soon as it's gone, it's gone. So you got something to hold on to that not a lot of people are going to have access with.
Definitely. Absolutely. Some more people have jumped in the chat. So you guys that just joined us recently, I'm talking to Aaron from Browne Family Spirits, and we're playing the Wheel of Questions. So if you guys want to jump on, William Hall jumped in to say hi. Eric Gunnarsson, appreciate you guys being here. David Bays is in the house. What's up? Love these distillery lives. Thanks. Hey, man, that's what we're here for. Spread the word. Let you guys know about these people you just might not know about. Marvin. Oh, hit the like button and spread the word. Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you, Marvin. Also, Marvin, jump on and ask a question. It'll be a lot of fun. I promise.
Yeah.
Mark Immenecker's in the house. What's up, buddy? I appreciate all you guys being here. I've got a couple in the back room already, but any of you guys want to jump in and ask a question that want to get on, I'm going to go ahead and bring on William Hall first. So you're going to be the first name on the Wheel of Questions. William, thanks for being here, buddy.
How's it going, William?
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Good. Trying a new sound setup here. So, Aaron, thanks for coming on. Mark.
I have to turn your audio up.
I'm in Indiana, so I don't get a lot of these like Northwest distilleries. So
wait, William, hold what you got. I can't hear you, bud.
I got you. Up in Indiana, that's nice. That's real close to home back in Louisville.
Yeah, I see you're a Kentucky boy.
Yes, sir. Born and raised.
I'm not that far from you, about 2.5 hours. So
okay.
We don't see a lot of you guys out here. Mark brings a lot of these distilleries out of the Northwest, and they're freaking awesome. You guys are doing some great stuff out there. My question is to you.
Hey, William, are you able to turn your microphone settings up? Or is your
did that do anything?
Is your microphone settings on something that's not is like in the other room? Because you're whispering to me, man.
Let me bring it a little bit closer. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Can you hear him pretty good, Aaron?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm just getting whispers over here. Can you guys in the chat hear him and it's just me or what? I mean, if it's just me, then.
Oh, Chris, going to Louisville. Well, if you need suggestions for any distilleries, I got them.
So I'm lucky. My new
not
boss
very
is
loud.
in Harrodsburg, Kentucky.
Very quiet.
I get to make the trip down there about once a month,
Nice.
so that helps my bourbon hunting. Mark, can you hear me?
Bro, William, you are coming in at a super low whisper.
Well, what's your question, Will? I'll start with it.
Yeah, if you got a question and Aaron can hear you, then Aaron can interpret for us. So
Yeah, I got it.
okay.
So my question is to Aaron, what, and this is an obvious question, out of the products that you deliver, especially from the bourbon side, what is your favorite? What is the absolute key to your existence?
Well, I mean, being from Kentucky, bourbon's always going to have a special place in my heart. That's hands down, you know. And it's me being here in Washington. Like, I'm very much trying to bring my experience and knowledge from Kentucky and apply it here. So I'm always going to put a lot of effort into our bourbons, specifically because I want our bourbons to be just as good as Kentucky is considered, that kind of like pinnacle. So I'm always going to be leaning towards the bourbons. We've actually received a lot of good feedback lately, though, about our rye, which, you know, I'm super happy to hear. I just went up to Alaska to try to get some of the product into the retailers up there with some of our sales team, and the rye and our vodka actually got kind of the best reviews from the people that we talked about. And I guess
wow.
when I hear that all this positive feedback about the rye specifically is like terrific, because a lot of people are kind of turned off to rye. Rye's kind of still up and coming. There are plenty of people out there that love rye, but it's still kind of got this bad rep to it. And to hear positive feedback about it means that we're doing something really good, really great in that category for sure.
Yep.
So I'm going to tell you,
Agreed.
I'm a rye guy. I love ryes.
I do too. Yeah.
Probably more than bourbon. And the other thing is kind of funny that you say that. I'm actually looking at ground right now in Alaska.
Oh yeah.
So that's where I'm going to retire.
Yep. We just went to Anchorage, so I didn't get to see a lot of the town or the city, but you know, from what I got, it's a really great place. The scenery alone is great. There's a couple distilleries up there. One of them was Anchorage. So we stopped by there, tried some of their product just to kind of compare against us, and you know, it's got to be extremely tough up there to produce spirits. You know, there's not a lot of farming. It's super far away geographically, so to get the raw materials up there has got to be difficult. So for them to want to do spirits up in Alaska, where you don't have those materials just readily accessible like we do here in Washington and Kentucky,
Yep.
like that's something to applaud for sure.
Absolutely.
My sister moved up there to Anchorage, but that was because her husband is now a pilot for UPS.
Yeah.
So she went up there for that. But that was after I started talking about going up there, and we're looking right now anywhere between 100 and 1,000 acres.
Oh wow.
North of Anchorage, and part of what we want to do is farming.
Okay. Well, I'm sure.
Kind of support that, and I know it's a weird climate, and it's a very short growing season, and there's a lot of weird stuff going on up there. But you know,
what are you trying to grow, or what's the dream?
Barley, wheat, and rye.
Okay. Yeah, rye is that's a whole topic that we're kind of like I'm into right now. Just not a lot of people want to grow rye. It kind of cross pollinates and can mess with your other crops. So we've really struggled here in Spokane and Washington to get a rye supplier. We did have a gentleman out in Ritzville who was producing the rye for us, but he decided to kind of get out of the game, and he's actually moving to Hawaii to open a distillery. So we lost that supplier, and now we've really struggled to find another supplier. But we've been fortunate to find a gentleman out in the Walla Walla area. It's an organic farm, Tom and Ray Williams. So they're going to be growing directly all of our grains pretty much starting here very soon.
Are you looking at specific grains? I mean, strains of rye? Or are you looking at like heirloom ryes? Or are you looking at?
Well, there's so many things to factor. Varietals, heirlooms, different things. The hard part is, you got to be cost effective in your materials, so that can go into your product, which can go into your consumers. And then, heirloom varietals, you don't get as good of a yield with some of that. It's hard to find. So you want to pick and choose, but at the same time, you can't always be too picky. So, this farm is 100% organic. So all of our products, moving forward here very soon, will be organic and very, very clean and fresh ingredients for sure.
Well, I wish you the best of luck, and thank you for taking my question. And
absolutely, good luck to you in your future here with Alaska. And I really do hope you can move forward with that, and maybe you can supply some of those distillery and meet some of their needs, because I'm sure they need it.
I just want to come up and play with the bears. That's my whole thing, right?
Well, you're gonna see that. I saw some crazy videos. There's grizzlies just floating around up there. So watch what you wish for.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you, William. Appreciate you.
All right, William, I got you on the wheel, and I'm sure we'll be in touch, buddy.
Thank you.
Take care.
And thanks for jumping on. So what I got from that is he asked about Ryes and resourcing.
Yeah, Ryes and resourcing. What's my favorite product that we're currently producing, and some very good questions, and we're doing some great things. One thing I'd like to touch on is our one series in particular that we're doing is our farm series. We are using 100% Washington sourced materials and grains. And I think maybe I discussed this, maybe not in the past, but we're putting down a couple different new recipes each year. One of them that we've already laid down is we used Oaxacan green corn, heirloom varietal corn grown from a specific, had a farmer grow it specifically for me.
Oh, nice.
So we got a green corn bourbon at barrel, and then we got the local malt house in town, Link Foods. They approached me, said that they had this special malt that they had on hand, which it had these great chocolate and coffee notes when I was going through it. But then when I distilled it, the profile was just complete opposite. You get these very like medicinal phenolic notes, very almost like smoky, kind of like a peaty characteristic, but not. So the profile is completely different, which really shocked me. And it kind of worried me at first, because this wasn't what I was hoping for. Right. But as I've tasted over the months, it's still got that aroma that it started with, but these chocolates and the coffees on the palate have really just like, they sit there and they really dominate, which is I'm really hoping that over time it's going to mellow out and form into something pretty awesome.
That sounds great. I like getting those kind of dark chocolate and coffee notes. There's not many whiskeys that do that really well without bringing too much bitterness or something into it. To where there's a good balance, to where it's not all just the dark side.
Yeah, and so this is 100% rye malt too. So, but it doesn't have that, that stereotypical rye characteristics of being over spicy and harsh on the palate that some people get. Yep. It's completely unique and opposite. And that's really what I would like to focus on with Browne is, laying down some of these super unique recipes and barrels, because if you don't do that as a distillery, then you'll never know what possibilities of something good that you can have. So you kind of got to factor that into your production schedule and, offer something completely different to really get your name out there, I think. And that's the fun part of it too.
Absolutely. So far tonight, I was sipping on the bourbon, the one that you sent me in the distillery exclusive shape bottle. And so it's really, really light on the profile. It's very easy to drink, but it's really, really light across the palate. But you were talking about the rye, and so the one I'm going to open next is the rye. While we bring Marvin on to chat it up with you, I'm going to be trying the rye for the first time. because I have not had your rye before. So I'm pretty excited to get into this while we see what Marvin's got going on. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Marvin.
Hi, Aaron. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. I was told to ask some questions.
Ask away, bud.
I'm just joking. I do have questions. So, I know
Nice.
Browne Family Wine, is the parent company and all that good stuff. I was in Bellevue, and I don't know if this was asked earlier or answered earlier. It's, jumping on. How's it going, everybody? The wine tasting rooms. So I drove by the one in Bellevue,
Yeah.
and then there's also the one in Tacoma. Is the bourbon are the spirits there for tasting or not yet, or how's that working? What's that?
Yeah. So they are 100% in the Bellevue and the Tacoma tasting rooms. I was up in Seattle pretty recently, only a few weeks ago, to the Seattle tasting room to kind of go over the spirits with the staff and train them a little bit. I'm not quite sure if they've made their way to the Seattle tasting room, but I know that they're very close to it.
Okay. So are you guys doing like flights on those? Or are you guys having like curated cocktails to kind of show off the
They're
new?
doing both. We've got our own like kind of line of cocktails. They're doing the spirit flights. You can buy the product there, tasting room exclusive products. So everything that you're seeing in the round bottle that Mark's displaying, that'll be in the tasting rooms. You won't be able to get it in stores. So if you want to taste those, just swing by one of the tasting rooms and definitely try it.
The round. Okay. So I know I've seen the rectangular shaped ones, I think at Total Wine. I'm not sure. I know I've seen. So there's a difference in terms of the bottle.
Yeah. So everything in the round bottle, that is going to be tasting room exclusive. Those are going to be Those are going to be higher in age, so 4 years. It's actually 3 tiers. So we have a lab series, our reserves, and our monogram. Lab series are going to be kind of our experimental spirits, where we try. That's with like be anything from our whiskeys to our vodka and gin. So for the lab series so far, we've done our vanilla bean infused whiskey. We've done a warm spice. And those both use all natural infused products or materials. And then we've done a lemon huckleberry vodka, which is terrific for summertime. And then we have it's called Gigi's Garden Gin. Gigi is actually Andrew Brown's grandmother, who had a garden as she was growing up, and she would grow botanicals and things. So we've kind of dedicated this gin series to her, which it's a lavender flavored gin and terrific. I keep calling it a gateway gin because a lot of people are kind of turned off by juniper and the pininess that kind of overpowers in gin. But what we found out is that the lavender and the high oils and lavender flower really help to balance that juniper. So it doesn't overpower both your sense of smell, but also it helps to mellow out the taste. So I definitely suggest trying that as well. It's
okay. And that's there all of this is at the tasting rooms.
Yeah, it should be, or most of it.
Okay.
And a lot of the lab series will be kind of a one and done. So we got such positive feedback from the vanilla bean that we are going to continue to make that, and it will be in the wholesale. So it will be in the square bottles.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The warm spice is going to be probably potentially a one and done. That's a terrific winter whiskey for sure. I keep calling it like a sophisticated fireball. It doesn't have that fireball viscousness, thick mouthfeel. It's very easy to drink, light on the sugar, and we use natural spice, or we actually use spices and infuse them into the whiskey. So definitely suggest that. Pour it with like a hot cider in the whiskey, and you won't be mad about it. You'll like it. So try some for sure.
Toddy or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the other 2 tiers real quick is the reserves. So we got our rye, bourbon, and single malt. Those are all going to be 4 years aged, non-chill filtered whiskeys. And then we have the monogram series, which is going to be our Bittner's Distiller's Rye, and our ATB cab finished. So those are going to be the Bittner's and the Distiller's Rye are single barrel cask strength. And then the ATB is just another specialty where we finish it in a cab barrel from one of our actual wineries.
Okay. So, Mark, looks like we got a field trip to at least probably the Tacoma tasting room.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And then
I like your tiers. The lab, where you got the vanilla bean and stuff like that. Then the reserve. Then the monogram has those real special ones like the Bintners and the finished in cab. I like how you broke those up into tiers. That's a lot of fun. And so Marvin, I was going to show you real quick. I saw this on base, and I was really excited.
Oh,
that's us.
That's on JBLM, and so I wanted to give a huge verbal high five to you on that because it's not easy to get on there. There's very few craft distilleries on base, and there's even fewer local craft distilleries. So you got Heritage and Woodinville, and there's pretty much no other local craft on base. So when I saw that, I was like, "Whoa!" and got kind of excited. And
yeah, and it's great. We have such good teams. Our sales teams are great. You know, they're all over. They're really pushing the product, and they've been focused on wines for so many years that now that we're branching out into these spirits, they've got this enthusiasm about it and really want to see it out there and get reactions.
Yeah.
Mark.
All right. Hey, thanks, Marvin. I got you on the wheel, buddy.
And then we can, after the tasting room, we can get waffles next door.
Hey, man, that sounds
like a good pairing, whiskey and waffles. You should do a session like that.
Waffle shop right next to the Browne tasting room. So
we'll have to make an event and bring Tolley and Michelle and them with us.
All right. Good night, everybody. Lee,
good night. Thanks, Marvin.
Thoughts to
Appreciate
your dad,
you, Marvin.
Lee. Have a good one.
All right, so whenever Tolley's ready. But yeah, I saw those on base, and I was just like, well, $37 out the door because there's not tax or anything on base. Yeah. And it's a local that you don't see many locals on base. I just got all excited because, I talked to some of the employees there. I was like, why don't you guys have a section where you have like veteran-owned whiskeys or local whiskeys or stuff? Like your stuff is so random and all over the place. It drives me bananas.
Yeah.
Not to get all like crazy OCD on somebody's store, but I'm like, they had nothing going on.
From a consumer standpoint, that would be beneficial for sure.
Yeah, I like it when there's visible sections. Are you ready, Tolley?
Let me just. Oh,
I can't hear you when you actually.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having us on here tonight.
Hey, good to have you.
Hey, I'm new to bourbon, so I just got in recently in about March of this year. So I recently went up to Lee's QFC up in Pine Lake, and he had lots of your products there. So if for someone who's new to bourbon that's not really experienced, what would you say is the best product from Browne that we should jump into first?
That's a hard one.
That's a great question.
Everybody's everybody's palate's different. So, as I'm going, the characteristics that a bourbon should have, the characteristics a rye should have, single malt, etc. So, what I enjoy and what I taste may not be what a lot of other individuals taste. There's people out there that they taste Wild Turkey or Buffalo Trace, and they may not like that, but that product's on every shelf. So to say what you're tasting wrong or right, that's very almost not appropriate. So, but from a bourbon standpoint, a bourbon is 51% more corn in the mash bill, and the corn offers those sweet notes. So a bourbon should always almost be sweeter on the palate. It traditionally, I feel, boasts the caramels, vanillins, toffees, scotch, those kind of flavor profiles. And then your rye is considered like a spicy whiskey. People describe rye as being peppery, which I never get pepper from a rye. I've never gotten pepper. I get more of these I consider it like earthy notes. So I get like leather, tobacco. I use black tea a lot. If you're like, I drink a lot of tea and sweet tea, and I get these black tea characteristics, things like that. I feel like represent a very good rye. But the mouthfeel in the rye, when they say spicy, I kind of think of the mouthfeel. So you get kind of this like prick or tingle in that your mouth that kind of coats it, and that's what rye and spice represents to me.
Awesome, thank you. And I wanted to ask also, do you guys do any finished products? Sorry, I wasn't watching the entire time, so if I missed you talking about that, I apologize. But I just I love Mark from Northwest Bourbon, so I had to jump on here and check in to see if he is planning on doing anything finished coming in the future.
Yeah, so we discussed it a little bit earlier. We do have one finished product. It's going to be one of our tasting room exclusives. So it'll be in the Bellevue, Seattle, and Tacoma tasting rooms. And it's a cab barrel finished from one of the Cabernet barrels from our winery specifically. So it's a super fresh barrel, pretty much. We decide when we want to produce this, and I'll get a freshly harvested barrel within like the week. So super fresh. We don't have to worry about oxidation of any remaining wine or anything tainted in the barrel. So it's really good. We have a lot of tools in our cabinet that allow us to really add to the spirits category. And if you have any suggestions for finishing, I'm always open to listen and trying, because I feel like, if you're familiar with barrel bourbon, they're everywhere, and that's like specifically what they focus on is like different finishes and different barrels. So that to me is kind of like a new opening for spirits and flavor profiles that I'd like to explore a little bit more.
Well, I'm a bourbon neophyte, so anything finished, it makes it easier on the palate, because like some of this other stuff is just kills me. So yeah, I appreciate you, Aaron, and I'm definitely going to go see my buddy Lee up at Pine Lake and get some Browne Family Spirits. So I appreciate you spending some time with Mark in Northwest Bourbon today. And I'm also going to check out your place up in Proctor, because that's right up in my neck of the woods.
Oh, nice.
So, and I wish you all the success. Cheers.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Hey, thanks for coming on, Tolley. I appreciate you. I got you on the wheel, and so you might win a flight of everything I got here, and maybe some other stuff too. I appreciate you being here, buddy.
Awesome. Cheers, fellas.
Cheers.
See you later. All right. Dude, that was great. Great questions, guys. Great questions. Troy from Baker Drinks, another Washington local. Great to see you here, buddy. If you want to jump on and ask a question, you are more than welcome. Mark Emmenecker is going to bed. Good night, Mark. That was a while ago. That was 15 minutes ago. Running behind. Got too engaged in the conversation. Fell behind in the chat. Let's see. Big Vic dropped in. What's up, man? Good to see you. Ben from the north. Demon Hunter. Good to see you. JD Ryes hit the state. Yeah. Brian's here. Hey, what's up, Brian? Good to see you again. Navy vet comes on once in a while. I'm glad that you're here and hanging out. That sounds beautiful. The Lady Goat, she's a big rye fan, and so she likes hearing about that. The rye that I just started sipping on from you, there's some really light fruit notes, and there's spices in the back. A lot of those kind of rye spices, baking spices, not as much pepper or mint as I get on some ryes, but there's the spicy light fruit side of the wheel that I'm getting on this rye.
Yeah, rye's interesting for sure. We recently kind of compared ours to some other big producers, Bullet and Elijah Craig. So, and the profiles between those two alone were completely opposite. If you get an opportunity to just try those two and compare them, it's just wild, how many different flavor profiles all these different distilleries are putting out.
Grady, put on good luck. Questions, eh? Missed the first 5 minutes, so I don't know. Hey, you're good, Ben. If you ask a question and I tell you have to watch the replay, I'm sure you got another question in your pocket. Love it when you jump on, man. Derrick, are you ready to go? You got a question all lined up? Oh, Derrick's got a question. All right, everybody hang on to your butts. Derrick's in the house. What's happening, buddy?
No, first of all, I don't have a question. I just came to say hi.
Hey, Derrick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I found a rye recently that did not offend my sensibilities.
Really? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
What was it?
Mojo gave me in Detroit a Old Forester barrel strength rye.
Yeah.
That did not offend my sensibilities. And
Okay.
I was like, first of all, that was the first time I met Mojo in person. Second of all, I got a rye that didn't fuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
And it is what it is. And I was happy. I'm going to let him know whenever I see him again online. But I only came here to say hi to you, Mark.
Well, hey, Derrick, if you ask a question, I might send you a flight of the 4 bottles that I got from him and just send you a flight of all 4 of the different flavors I got. It'll be fun.
Oh, outstanding, sir. Oh, I'll tell you what.
So Derrick, this is Aaron from Browne Family Spirits, and
Yes,
Aaron,
I followed enough to know that part. How you
this
doing,
is
man?
Derrick from Chicago.
Hey,
Yes.
Derrick. Not too far from Kentucky.
Yeah, I'm a rehearsed drunk, Aaron. So don't don't pay me too much attention.
No worries.
Okay, all right. I won't throw you in the spotlight, Derrick. I appreciate you coming on and saying hi, brother.
Yeah, appreciate it.
And I want to say this sincerely, Aaron. It was nice, at least seeing you. No disrespect. I only came here to say hi.
Oh, well, we appreciate it.
All right.
Hey, have a
Take
good
care.
night, Derrick. Such a nice guy. Good dude. Gordon Murphy's in the house. Shout out. Splash out. What's up, Gordon? Hearing about you're sipping on. What are you sipping on? What are you sipping on, Eric? And William? What are all you guys sipping on? So I just gave a quick rundown of the rye, and so I've got to get to the next one, which is that vanilla bean that you were just talking about. You want to give us a rundown of what this vanilla bean is?
Yeah, so that is a bourbon whiskey that we take Madagascar vanilla beans. We process them by cutting them in half, so that way the whiskey has more surface area to have our contact with so that the whiskey has more contact with the vanilla bean itself. Right. A lot of those oils and yummy vanilla flavors are actually within that vanilla bean. So that we macerate the vanilla beans in the whiskey for about a week. It's got a little bit of sugar in there. I'm not a strong advocate for a lot of sugar if you're going to do a flavored product. You want the whiskey itself to be the main characteristic of the product, and you don't want it to be overpowered by any kind of sugar or additive for sure. Okay. So the additive should accentuate the whiskey for sure. With this vanilla bean, I really enjoy it because it's got multiple levels of vanilla notes. So I've gotten everything from like just like a vanilla icing to vanilla ice cream to like a buttercream kind of aroma from it,
like a buttercream frosting.
Yep. And so this is also what I would consider. I used it already with the gin, but it's like a gateway whiskey for people who may not like straight whiskeys or, super familiar with them. This is a good one for them to have to kind of like introduce themselves to whiskey for sure.
Okay. Mojo, thanks for being here, buddy, and telling people to hit that like button. Helps like YouTube algorithms to suggest the video to more people or something like that. I'm not a YouTube apologist. I just like to share whiskey with other like-minded whiskey enthusiasts. Man, you guys are just chatting it up, and I freaking love it.
Yeah, that's good.
Get me started on the Westland pick. Absolute fantastic spot on. Yep, Eric. Absolutely, man. Mojo. Oh, Whiskey Wanderberg's in the house. Michelle, are you going to jump on and ask a question and get in this raffle? You totally should. I'm just saying, everybody's doing it and you'll be cool. No peer pressure, though. I want to go to the tasting room. Yes. So, yeah, Marvin was just talking about that we're going to have to do a field trip. I have to rent a bus or something. It'll be fun. Hey, cheers, everybody. Thanks for being here and hanging out and talking about Browne Family Spirits. I'm going to try this this special edition vanilla bean bad boy that has like some signature writing on the side of the bottle.
Yeah.
Honestly, it looks great.
And
you're right. It does smell like a pastry with icing on it.
Yeah, it's good.
Cheers, guys. Whoa, that is way more vanilla than the nose gives off. Yeah, tasting it, it tastes like frosting.
Yeah, it's a good product for sure. So good that it will be in wholesale. So you will see it in the stores very soon.
Okay. Yeah, that is melted frosting with alcohol in it. That's for sure. I saw them at Total Wine yesterday too. Awesome. And I just shared a little bit ago, Michelle, that the bourbon and the rye just landed on JBLM, so we can get them on base now, which is pretty freaking exciting. Yeah, and Lee has them at the store, so don't buy them from Total Wine. Buy them from Lee if you're not going to buy them on base. Totally, absolutely. Go to Lee's spot. Let's see. So this vanilla bean said it's is this the same bourbon that's your regular bourbon?
Yep.
And so you just take your regular mash bill, regular age, all that stuff, and just set a batch aside to do your vanilla process.
Yep.
Okay, got it. Wait. Hold on, did I miss Marvin saying bye? Why are you saying goodnight? Troy, I will always have it available. Oh, nice. Yeah, Lee likes your product. I've been talking to him about you for a few months now. Stores make local things visible. Support local. Absolutely. Yeah, I tell the local Total Wine and the Class 6 on base that they need to make a section of just local stuff. Tolley! There's Neko. Yeah, that was on. Oh, so way back here. Jade frame finish will be fun and not a lot have been done. Yes. So Lee's looking forward to your cab finish. I like it. Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up on chat real quick. Wait a minute. Would they call that an STR barrel? I'm not sure, man. Love the spice. That upfront kick in the teeth flavor. Like I said, I'm a rye guy. Peppermint, prickly flavors. Spice. William Hall. I love it, man. Love your descriptions. Fan of port. Okay, so you asked suggestions for finishes. I've had a couple honey finishes that were good, and I've had a couple maple finishes that were great. Okay. And what they did is they got some like pure real maple syrup and put it in one of their bourbon barrels, and then so they have bourbon barrel aged maple syrup that they sell at their distillery. But then when they dump it out, they'll put another batch of bourbon in there and let that age for a little bit. And then you have a maple finished bourbon.
Well, now, you know, it's a good, you bring this up at the perfect time because we do offer barrel aged maple syrup, and it is in some of the tasting rooms. I literally just ordered another 30 gallons of maple syrup from Vermont today. We're about to do another round of that, and I definitely, that is an idea that I will probably steal from you. We'll harvest that maple syrup and just put some, harvest some whiskey and put it back into that barrel. Why not?
Yes. And huge difference between when you pull that whiskey out and you try it at cask strength. It is so much better because when you proof it down to like 86, 90, something in there, it's really sweet. But if you leave it at cask strength, it has a great balance to it. And I know you don't sell as many bottles out of it that way, but it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's
super
more of a
good.
that would be more of a specialty for sure. So it would probably drive a little bit higher price point, but you know, if it's a one-off type of thing that's really good, why not?
Yeah. But Armagnac finished has been popular. Toasted barrel, like where you just have toasted staves instead of roasted or charred. Those are fun. Usually when it's toasted, you get some great graham cracker and marshmallow flavors. Dude, so good.
Yeah, I would love to do you know, some like double barreled kind of whiskeys where we harvest a bourbon and then finish it in a toasted barrel to try to get some of those you know, toasted notes and sweeter characteristics for sure.
Mm-hmm. So one thing we touched on the very beginning is transitioning from Warrior to Browne. That seemed to really open up your distribution range.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're with Southern Glazer, which is one of the biggest distributors in the U.S. They have a very large reach. So you know, we're just now getting into the wholesale market with this. We had to wait a decent amount of time to get that custom glass in and some dry goods. We've got it all. We just did a huge bottling of it. I think we did close to 2,000 cases of the bourbon and a little more than 1,000 cases of the rye. So still very, very small compared to like larger producers. But, you know, our facility, we have 3 employees there. So it is myself, my assistant, and then we have a tasting room manager. So it takes a month just to get through like 2,000 cases of the bourbon. So, you know,
goodness,
small quantity.
There's only 3 of you.
Just 3 of us. Yep.
Man. So Z-Man jumped in. Appreciate seeing you, Z-Man. Whiskey Uncensored. It's good to see you, Ben. Bourbon is in the house. Good to see you. What's the proof on the vanilla one? This guy is 80 proof. And it says number 1 on it. I'm assuming it's the first batch.
First lab series batch, yeah. So if you can, snag one.
Awesome.
The vanilla bean was the first. The warm spice was number 2, and then the lemon huckleberry vodka is 3.
Man, I want to try that lemon huckleberry vodka.
It is it's a great summertime one. Again, very light on the sugar, and then you know the lemon and the huckleberry pair very well together.
Nice. Pouring some Stag Junior batch 16. Nice one, Mojo. Eat waffle stuff. Oh, I love it, Marvin. Bless ups, bless ups. What's up? What's up? I was making a condolence call tonight. Oh man, that sucks. Alberta drink. All right, Ben of the North is drinking some Alberta. Okay. You're way behind the distillery only, Cab. Yep. No, yeah, I fell way behind in chat, dude. I appreciate you rubbing that in. If you have any sandpaper, let me know.
I mean, I guess it's a good thing to be behind in the chat. I mean,
responding. Oh, Maple and Barrels. Yep, absolutely. Freaking fantastic. Okay, now good night. Oh, Marvin's going to bed. All right, good night, buddy. Appreciate you. I hope you win something. Only 3 people. Wow. Yeah. So chances are good to win stuff. William, did you have another question, or are you just hanging out and waiting to go in the back room? Thumbs up if you want to come back on and ask another question, because I'll let you do it.
Yes, the maple syrup.
Missed me earlier. Is there a single malt? Yes.
Yeah, there is single malt. It's going to be tasting room only right now for your age. We will potentially have a single malt available for the wholesale market though as well.
Yeah, American single malts have definitely been making a wave lately and becoming more and more popular. And I think the distilleries are actually getting better at making them.
Yeah,
which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people get confused between Scotch and Irish whiskey and then American single malt. I feel like they have this predetermined idea that it should be peaty and smoky and the characteristics of a Scotch, which doesn't necessarily represent an American single malt. Two different categories.
Yes, absolutely. Yep, Ben, I get it. And if you just want to come to the back screen, I'm going to let William Hall jump on and ask another question just so see if we get some more good interaction going on with some questions that some of the people watching us live might have, or some of the people watching it later might have. And talking about watching it later, what I'll do is I'll watch it again tomorrow and put in the description a conversation navigation. So if people don't have enough time to watch the whole thing, they'll be able to look at the description and see different parts of the conversation we go through and click on a link and just jump right to that.
Perfect.
Which nobody else on YouTube does that. You can only find that here. What's up, William?
Hey, William.
No, sorry, I had another question, and I don't expect another chance on the wheel, but
I can hear you now.
Thank you.
I can
switched
hear
my
an
phone.
echo too.
You know, so a $300 mic doesn't do you shit. That's fine.
Well, did you? Not to ask a stupid question, but you check that it was plugged in.
Yes, and I have a $1,000 Apollo Twin X, which didn't come with the USB cable. Other things going on over here, but anyway, I'm an audio engineer, so that's what I do. But I can't get. So that's sad.
Oh, dude, I love you, William. That was awesome.
Part of my resume, but anyway. So my question is, and Aaron, thank you. So you kind of led into this. You have 3 employees right now. What's your barrel output?
So we do roughly. It's like a little under 2 barrels, but 2 barrels. You know, depending on the mash bill, for sure. We're going to get a higher yield from the bourbons than we do the rye. Single malt, we get a pretty high yield as well. But we do about 2 barrels a day, 4 days a week. So between 6 and 8 barrels a week. And another part into that is I really train my assistant to be very precise when we're making our cuts. We're a batch system, so we're making cuts. We do not run a continuous column. So we got to separate out our heads, hearts, and tails. So, we be very careful and making sure none of the heads goes too far into the hearts. And then we really focus on tasting throughout the entire day, the hearts section, and not let it go too far into the tails, because the tails are going to contain a lot of those oily, fainty characteristics, which I don't like to taste in whiskeys. I taste it all the time in other people's whiskeys, and I don't understand why they're allowing that. I don't know if that's something that they think is a positive, or if it's part of their flavor profile, but I would rather have 2 barrels of extremely good whiskey than 4 barrels of mediocre.
Absolutely. Can I get an amen?
I appreciate that. And I love the fact that, and I mean, I don't mean any disrespect by this, but being a smaller distillery, you guys take quality to that extreme. I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, and that's what we're looking for. And again, I know I said it before, but thank you to Mark for bringing on these smaller distilleries that are out there in the Northwest that are doing these things that, quite honestly, nobody here in the Midwest is doing. They're all about mass production, kick it out, heads and hearts, tails, be damned, just kind of doing their thing and flooding it out there in the market. And, so I'm from the head, or Indiana is a home of Squibb and Ross. Right. So,
yeah.
We're very fortunate to make spirits in Washington, and I'm surprised it hasn't taken off more, because Washington produces so much grain. We have such good terroir and landscape for producing grain, yet there's not as many distilleries as you would see in Kentucky. Like I get Kentucky has other things going for it as far as climate and everything, but we also have like really good water here in Spokane for sure. You know, we get water runoff from the mountains, which passes through all the high mineral content. So yeah, you know, we will always boast Kentucky limestone water, but you know, Washington has really good water as well. We get these glacier runoffs and everything as well. So, you know,
So you're getting more granite runoff, right? In your water?
I don't know, but probably something like that. But I know that we have a very strong mineral content in the water.
Because there's some water around Indiana that the well water is horrid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, you just get that really limestone-y, and it's just absolutely horrid. Now that's in the Midwest. That's in the middle of Indiana, and the further you go south, I don't know how that happens, but you know, so yeah, it absolutely does have a influence on whatever you're putting into it. I've been to restaurants where they've mixed their drinks, their soda, you know, out of the fountain with the tap water, and I can't drink it.
Yeah. And, you know, there's so many things that you can really dig into and consider when you start really talking about spirits and the process of it. You know, you could go as far as talking about microbiome of your facility, which microbiome is the microorganisms that naturally live and occur in a given area, and they're feeding off certain compounds in that area, and they're producing compounds in that area. And also your fermentations have a different microbiome in your facilities, and you know the yeast strains you use, and all these different, you know, the temperatures that you ferment at. Are your yeast stressed from higher temperatures? Or are they lagging at lower temperatures? They're producing compounds. So, you know, you can really dig into it. You could spend many, many years just trying and tweaking different things and seeing, you know, what you get out of it.
Well, I was part of FFF, Future Farmers.
Yeah.
So in Indiana, that's a big thing, obviously. You know, where I grew up, that was, you know, we were out in the middle of nowhere.
I remember seeing
My
all
high
the
school had a pig farm on one side, a cow farm on the other, and a wheat field on the other side. So, you know, depending on the way the wind blew.
Yeah.
So,
it's a super unique industry, and that's part of the fun of it too. You know, figuring out these different variables and trying to, you know, use them to your advantage, put it into a product that hopefully people will enjoy.
Yeah.
No, that's incredible, because I mean, there really is. There's a ton of variables that go into it, and you know, you guys finding the magic secret to make your thing work, and
you could spend a lifetime doing it.
Oh yeah, and more, and then it's going to change.
Yep.
Right. So, you know, the wind blows a little more from the northeast than the northwest.
Yep. And, you know, Washington, we have a lot of fires up here too. So, you know, does some of that play into the composition of the soil, and how does that go into the grains? You know, we're in fire season right now. Spokane it's rained like 2 days this year. We get little to no water, but we get a lot of fires. So, you know, it's smoky up here, and there's all kinds of things you can consider.
Yeah, sure. Now, Aaron, you talked about the amount of distilleries in Washington, that it could be more. I just wanted to let you know, if you weren't tracking. Yeah, when it comes to the amount of bottles, the amount of barrels, the size of some of the distilleries, like Kentucky and Tennessee might have us beat. But if you look at the sheer number of craft distilleries, Washington State used to be in the top 3 before COVID. We had so many shut down because of COVID that now we're tied for 5th place in the nation for how many craft distilleries are in Washington.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And there's
you know, like I said, you know, the thing is those small distilleries doing that craft thing that just really are unique. You know, that's what everybody's looking for right now, you know, because I can go all day long and buy Wild Turkey 101. But
yeah.
Great. But I'm looking for that thing that just blows my mind. Just takes me out of my element and says, hey, this is something superb. This is something that nobody else can get, or it's very limited.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people are really looking for that right now. And so, Mark, kudos to you, because you're bringing a lot of that. You know, I mean, some of these smaller distilleries, especially up in the Northwest, like I said, and I know I've said this before, but Aaron, you guys are up there in a market and a region that we don't see. You know, in the Middle West, we don't see this stuff, and so to get it's very difficult. So, but it's different. It's fantastic, you know, and that's worth its weight in gold. So keep doing what you're doing.
Definitely different types of consumers for sure. You know, there's the ones that they know what they like. They typically stick to what they know or what, you know, friends and family have suggested to them. The big name brands with, like, you know, Diageo, Pernod Ricard, Beam Suntory, and all the products they produce.
Yeah.
But the real, you know, this is kind of like why we are doing the show, is that you have your class of individuals who like super unique and different products and smaller batches and everything. It's a smaller market share, but it's something like to really push the industry forward.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, so all of you guys watching, we're going to cut it off and go to the back screen here in a couple minutes. So if you want to get into the raffle, you only have about 5 minutes left to jump on and ask a question to Aaron and to get you on the wheel, because 5 minutes from now, we are going to spin the wheel, do the raffle, give out prizes, and then go to the back room. And in the meantime, I am going to make a mixed drink with your stuff here. And what I decided I was going to make is I'm going to make a 4-grain. Okay, so I'm going to have my glass with an ice sphere in it, and I'm going to do 1 shot of the rye.
He's being all professional about it.
I'm trying, man. And then I'm going to
around everything.
I'm going to do 1 shot of the bourbon. And so now we've got a 4-grain. And I'll do a little splash of the vanilla bean. Just a little splash. You know, give that a little stir. And there we've got a super fancy cocktail.
What are you stirring with?
The remote control. It was the closest one. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Ooh, that's a great 4-grain. 4-grain cocktail.
4-grain
Ben of the North. Hold on, William. I got to drop you. Don't go anywhere. If any of you guys don't want to come on and ask a question and you just want to come to the backstage shenanigans, you can jump in and just have your.
I just like to talk. That's why I'm here. You know that.
I know. Yeah, I know. So stay in the back room. If anybody else wants to come in the back room just to talk off screen on when we go out from the live and go in the backstage, then do that and just leave your camera off so I know you don't want to come on screen. Because like I said, you now have 4 more minutes to get in the raffle, like Ben from the North over here.
Good evening, gentlemen.
What up? What up?
So, like I was telling Mark, I missed the beginning. So, you said you're from Spokane?
I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, but I reside in Spokane, Washington currently.
That's where the distillery is?
Yeah.
Okay, and when did it start?
So the facility was developed in 2017. It was owned by a husband and wife originally, and then in 2022, 21, it's been, time flies by. They sold it off to a larger company, which is now Browne. So Browne Family Spirits is what we are labeled as.
That's cool. So I've just recently, in the last couple of months, kind of started to look into Spokane a little bit, because I know it's on the east side.
Yeah.
So, like, how big of a industry is there for distilleries?
So Spokane only has two main distilleries. It'd be ourselves, and then of
Mhm.
course Washington famous Dry Fly.
Oh, I never heard of them. Okay,
You,
I
you
believe
haven't
that
heard of
they
Dry
were
Fly?
I don't think so.
I believe they were the first distillery in Washington, number one.
Yes,
Yep.
they did a lot of trailblazing on the legal side of the house to make it to where other craft distilleries could sell their product in state, and work out the legal stuff for it to be a Washington state craft. Has to be over 51% grown in Washington grains, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Dry Fly did a lot of the trailblazing to get that legal stuff squared away, so that people
Okay.
can open distilleries in state.
That's
Yeah,
great
there's
to
a
hear.
lot-
Like, yeah, because it's kind of exploded a bit here in Alberta, quite a bit.
yeah.
Whether it's distilleries or breweries. So that's always great to hear that the legal steps have been opened up for people in the local state or province.
Yeah.
All right, I'll jump off and talk to you in the after place, probably.
Cheers.
All right, yeah, just
Cheers.
hang out. Thanks, Ben. I appreciate you being here, Ben. And Mike, thanks for jumping in and push that like button. I appreciate you. Mike Stahl from Livewire Whiskey, a much more professional channel. Just kidding. Barrel Picks. So Lee, he if you're not aware who Lee is, he manages a liquor store in Sammamish. Great friend of the channel and to the community of the whiskey enthusiasts around here. So he was asking about barrel picks. Do you guys have a barrel pick program right now?
We have one up and coming. So we are in the process of laying out the program itself. But yes, we will have barrel picks. So if that is something you're interested in, we would love for you to get in on that.
Oh, awesome.
We are also going to do a little one of those a tiny barrel program and at our Spokane facility and at our Trolley House facility in Walla Walla, where customers can have their own personal little barrel, kind of like what Heritage does. They can pick the spirit. We will age it at the facility, and then they can harvest it.
Right. Where they can stop by, take a little sample out of it until they think it's ready, and then take it.
Yep.
That's cool. That's cool. So yeah, Lee and Sean and Marvin and Michelle right here talking about me making my fancy cocktail. There's a lot of people in the area that I've become good friends with that would jump at doing a like a collaboration barrel pick. That'd be fun.
Yeah, see, Lee mentions Donnie or Book about it, so I'm assuming he's referring to Donnie, who's in the sales team, and then Michael Book potentially. So yes, if that's who you're referring to, talk with them.
What's up, Steven? Thanks for stopping by, buddy. I jump in, but I missed most of the stream, so I don't know what was already asked.
It's all right. Ask anyways.
Yeah, Bourbon, you can ask anything you want, and I'll send you a sample of each one of the things I got. Mike Stahl, which Ben? On Central, right? Yeah. What did Mike Stahl ask to a Ben? Get Ben and James. I'll talk to Donnie. Okay. Sounds like a barrel pickup. Yep. All right, so 5 minutes is over, and so what we are going to do is transition over to the drum roll. I need to get a soundboard or something, or just get a drum set in here and do a legit drum roll to bring on the Wheel of Names. We just have William Hall, Tolley, and Marvin. We didn't have many people jump on tonight. So hold on, let me bring this down so it doesn't look so dumb. All right, so let's see. I think I'm just going to give a flight of the samples of the bottles I have to each one of them. Aaron, did you have any like swag or merch or anything?
Not off the top of my head, but whoever does win, I'm sure I can put together something at the distillery to send to them personally. Maybe a signed bottle or some swag of some sort. If you just send me their information, shouldn't be an issue.
I can definitely do that. And so all three of you guys, I'm going to send a flight of the bottles I have here from Browne Family Spirits, since not many of you jumped on. Sometimes we get too many people that jump on for me to be able to do that. But tonight, since there's, I didn't put Ben on there. My bad, Ben. I can't send alcohol to Ben because he's in Canada. Oh, wait, you know what? I can, because we are having across the border times. Like we're actually driving across the border. And so we will be able to give something to Ben. So I'm throwing Ben on there. My bad, Ben. I forgot we were doing a thing. Is that at the end of this month? I'll get back to you on that. All right, so like I said, I will give a flight of samples from the bottles I have from each one of these bottles. But something special from Aaron is going to go to Tolley, the Samoan Barkeep. Hey, congrats, Tolley. That's awesome. Dude, Tolley, you are going to get something special. All right, Aaron, before we go backstage, was there anything that you have going on there at Browne Family Spirits that you want to make sure to let the people know about?
I think, for the people who are actually interested in who we are and what we're producing, follow us on social media. Join our Spirits Club if you're interested in that. That's a very unique thing that we do. And then, just keep in touch. I'm always at the distillery. If you're local, want to swing by, I'm happy to talk to whoever. We do have another couple lab series coming out soon, like within the next month or two. It's going to be a two 250 milliliter products box set, so that'll be very exclusive. Just stay tuned and keep in touch, and just follow all the awesome, unique things that we're going to be doing.
Okay, and this right here is your guys' website. So, like we talked about before, the Browne family has a big vineyards thing. They do a lot of wines. But if you click on the tab right here and open up the spirits tab, you can get into a lot of information about their spirits. You see Aaron's pretty face right there, and look at that gorgeous distillery. I mean, it looks really, really nice. And learn more about it. You can see info on the tasting rooms. And like you said, go ahead and give them a follow on their social media and whatnot. And like I said, a link to that website is in the video description, along with the locations of those tasting rooms. But you can also find those on the website. Yeah. So any of you guys that want to jump on and come BS a little bit in the back room, go ahead and click that link to jump on. And Aaron, I'm going to solo you for a minute. If there's any parting words that you have, there you go.
Just continue enjoying your spirits and drink well and drink smart. Cheers.
Absolutely, well said. Part of that is make sure you guys are drinking more water than you're drinking whiskey, right? You got to stay hydrated. You got to take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of those around you and take care of your loved ones. And with that, we're going to sign off. Aaron, thank you so much for being here. Another great episode of Distiller's Perspective. And like I said, it's a historic one. You're the first return distiller, which is really cool to me.
Well, I'm honored.
And
hopefully I can come back for future ones.
Yeah, hey, dude, if you get some like crazy new releases coming out, you kick out some barrel strength maple finish, come on and have a drink with me, man.
I that's already in the thought process, so I'm gonna pitch that. I can almost guarantee that could be in a bottle.
Love it. 911. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for joining in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you know when new stuff is coming out. Check out other episodes of Distiller's Perspective by checking out the playlists. And make sure to tune in because we got a lot more stuff coming your way. Thanks again, Aaron, for being here. And all you guys in the chat watching us live, thank you so much for being here and being a part of this. Earn, protect, enjoy. Cheers.
Cheers.